Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 80s version of the Twilight Zone, where we are watching Cat and Mouse and Rendezvous in a Dark Place. Now, these are not the broadcast orders. Well, actually, these are the broadcast orders, but we also did the last episode of the series recently, so it's all a bit out of whack. Anyway, Cat and Mouse Yam is played by Paige Fletcher, who looks like Rutger Hauer. Let's not kid ourselves, he does. And he also coincidentally played the Hitcher in the TV show The Hitcher, whereas, of course, Rutger Hauer played the Hitcher in the movie The Hitcher. Fletcher also played RoboCop in the Dark trilogy, the sort of TV miniseries. Elaine is Gwyneth Walsh, who was in Star Trek Voyager. I can't remember that I've seen her. Anyway, there's some foreshadowing with the sleeping pills and that she sort of hides them away during stock taking, that sort of stuff. Next time, buy something I will enjoy seeing on you. It's a very creepy line overall. I mean, he is blatantly just abusing her. You know, if you don't get me the right coffee, I'll just leave. And she's a very desperate person, so she falls for that, and he's exploiting that to the utmost. I believe she was going along with it too, for the longest time, until she finds the pills in her bag. And that's when she hatches her plan, and that's when she decides to have him fixed. Speaking of Rutger Hauer, of course, night and daytime bound transformations like this occur in the movie Lady Hawk, which stars Rutger Hauer and Michelle Pfeiffer. It ends with a freeze to fade, which I don't really enjoy. It's not a very spectacular episode overall. It's just the fact that Paige looks like Rutger that caught my attention. The next episode is, of course, Rendezvous in a Dark Place. Barbara is Janet Leigh, who had a long, distinguished career, died at 77 years old, I think. But she was in Night of the Lepus. If you haven't seen that, you really shouldn't. The Fog, the original one, and H2O, the Halloween 20 years later sort of movie thing. Harold, this is a bit about Harold and Maude, I feel, about just sort of having funerals as a hobby. But it reminded me of Harold and Maude. Jason is Malcolm Stewart, who played two different doctors on The X-Files for some reason. Not the same doctor. The pendulum thing is an actual reflection. This isn't the post-edit. This is an actual reflection that they managed to catch without catching the camera. So that's good work. Good work on that. Death is Stephen McCarthy, who was in The 300. Watchmen, 2012, he was in Enterprise and Deep Space Nine, and also in Lex. So there's a lot he's been through. He's a great sci-fi career as well. When Death leaves, she has this very grand monologue, which I really enjoyed, when she's walking around the house talking to Death as if he was actually in the room. It's a grand piece of writing, I thought. And so when the person in the hospital dies and the nurse walks away, it reminds me of a very sad fact that during the COVID pandemic, there was a thing that happened in the hospitals when they ran out of staff and they had people actually dying, where they would just fill a latex glove with warm water and put them in the hand of a patient, so that they would have something to hold in their hand as they lay dying, so that they wouldn't be completely alone. It's a very sad thing. And it's the same here. She walks off and then Barbara steps in and becomes the solace. When the man dies, he grows dark, as opposed to the Purple Testament, when they have light on their eyes when they're supposed to die. And this, of course, is a throwback, sort of, kind of, to Nothing in the Dark, a 60s episode, I think, with Robert Redford, where a woman talks to death even though she doesn't really want to. Now, that's it for this week, and next week we are not seeing much of anything at all. See you then.